everybody, and welcome in to Blue Jays Today, folks, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. Tonight, everybody, we are going to be talking about the latest additions to that rotation. The comments said by John Schneider and others about said rotation, what it means for everybody's role, not just even in the rotation, I guess, but just on the team as a whole.
That's true.
Spoiler,
we're getting interpreted like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be, man.
Yeah.
We're getting a little cutthroat out here, but everybody is aware of it, okay? We're up front about being cutthroat.
Hey, we got our throat cuts last November.
And that's right. We don't want that to happen to us again, and therefore we got to take care of business. So we're going to talk about all of that and more, answer some of your questions. I also see somebody in the chat saying, are the boys in Dunedin? Not yet. We're flying out on Sunday. We'll be there all next week. So the live streams, the podcast, everything like that, going to be a completely different background, basically starting from tomorrow onward. So it should be one hell of a time. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlow.
I'm your host, Adam Pelly. Yeah, I'm super excited. We kind of dropped today that our schedule, and my goodness, it's going to be a busy one for sure, but it's going to be so much fun. Like, even the Airbnb we're staying at, we're going to have, like, this pool in the background. Going to be filming out there. Like, we're going to totally buy in to summer vibes. Absolutely.
Dude, it's one of those situations where I'm very excited now, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to feel amazing, but the second that we do inevitably get back to Canada...
Oh, my God, you're
right. The reverse is going to feel... Because we're going to go over there, and it's going to feel like the most tropical feeling that we've ever felt in our lives, going from this to that.
Yeah, right.
And then the alternative, it's like, holy shit, I'm walking into an ice box.
Well, did you hear that when we come back, I think on the 11th of March, it'll be like 20 degrees Celsius?
You're right.
That's crazy.
I did see that. So I'm hoping that we kind of leapfrog a little bit of winter.
Yeah.
And then when we do come back, it's like, oh, there's one more week left of poor weather. And then it's, boom, just straight spring vibes. Because that would be really nice. Welcome in, everybody. 85 people watching right now. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like, smash that subscribe button. Let's immediately flip over to the recent comments made by John Schneider. This comes after the Max Scherzer signing. Love to see it. Blue Jays Today guy back on the team. Vet back on the team. The vibes are going to be immaculate, but it does beg the question, who's going to pitch? Who's going to start? Who's going to be in that starting rotation? Ben Nicholson-Smith came out with this tweet right here. Blue Jays pitchers, including Max Scherzer, have been told that the starting rotation will be set via meritocracy. Their performance dictates it. Everyone's a big boy. They understand where we're at. I assume that is coming from John Schneider right there, saying that, yeah, everyone's a big boy, and they understand what we're doing here. So Max Scherzer, Dylan Cease, doesn't freaking matter. If you don't have it, you ain't playing.
Correct. And that's the way it should be. It should be that way anyways when you're a big league club. Now, I know there's some clubs like, let's say, the Washington Nationals, where you're just trying to figure out who a guy is. So you're going to give him enough playing time, even if he sucks. It is okay. We're a team that sucks anyways, so it's not like we're losing a lot here, and you're giving them the playing time to find out. No, we know who a lot of these guys are right now. We know who you are. Even Kazuma Okamoto, who I guess you could say is like one of the bigger question marks on who you are, we can take a look at you in spring training and at the BP sessions and know, and look at your NPB stats and go, this guy's a fucking pro. And we know what we're going to get from you every single day. We're going to get a constant effort of ABs, good power, great contact. So point being, you know who you are, we know who you are, and we're going to play the guys who are playing the best right now because, again, like we mentioned off the top, we got our throat cuts last November. We want to get back to the dance, and we're playing the guys who deserve it the most. Not because you're a name or you get paid the most money. It should be the guys who do deserve it the most based on their play on the field.
100%. And in theory, this is the way that things should be run. However, it does mean that you got to be a pretty solid manager. You got to read the room here. I see I guess a follow-up reply here to it's CB saying, so Gausman has a bad start out of the gate and he's out of the rotation.
No.
What about Cease? He has 2 bad starts in a row and he's in the bullpen. But he's got a point, because when you're playing it this way, it's always that managerial role of deciding, well, how much is too much and when do we make that decision, right? If he has 4 bad starts in a row and Dylan Cease is getting shelled, what do you do? It's still Dylan Cease. You just paid him. So you want to start
right.
Dylan, right? So it does make for some trickier decisions. And I think in hindsight or sitting here, it's pretty easy for us to go, oh, yeah, obviously you're going to pitch the good guys. But, yeah, what if it is somebody like a Dylan Cease and a month and a half into the season, he's not looking good?
Well, I think that's it right there. I think the situation is kind of making itself unfold on its own right now on who do you actually pitch if this guy's not doing well. Because right now when you look over at Ben Nicholson-Smith's rotation, and this is exactly where it is right now: Kevin Gausman, Dylan Cease, Trey Savage, parentheses, workload will be monitored carefully. We heard that update earlier. Jose Barrios, Cody Ponce. That's the 5 guys right there. And it just so happens that, Shane Bieber's injured, currently tossing right now. Max Scherzer, timeline, TBD. Okay, to start the year, as of right now, we got those 5 guys. But when Shane Bieber comes knocking on the door late April, early May, or whenever that might be, and Max Scherzer, I think the guess was around the same time, maybe a little bit later. We have to find out when he checks in this weekend. Well, then we'll start to get a little bit of a sample size on how guys are doing. But you're right. What if it is like a guy like Kevin Gausman, Dylan Cease? It's easy to punch out a guy like Cody Ponce, Jose Barrios, and Trey Savage because they're on the bottom half. But those other guys, what do you do then? I personally think they probably got longer leashes than just a month and a half. They probably go a little bit deeper into the leash.
That really is what it boils down to. You know, you paid them a lot of money and the management wants them to start. So that's why I say it's tricky for somebody like John Schneider to make those decisions, especially if it was one of those guys. If it is a Cody Ponce who isn't doing well, it's an easy cut.
That's an easy one.
It's an easy one, right? That's a layup. You can immediately do that and
role change, I guess.
Yeah, role change, right? It's an easy layup for you. But if it is one of those individuals that isn't, or that you think should be doing well and is not, that's when it gets a little trickier. Hopefully, we just don't have to cross that bridge. It's C specifically, because I guess even with somebody like a Kevin Gausman, he's entering into the we actually don't care that much anymore territory because he is on the last year of his deal. And even like if Kevin Gausman goes a month and a half where he's not looking good and Eric Lauer is dominating out of the pen, I mean, that's actually getting pretty simple for me. Dylan Cease is different, though, because you did sign him here long term, and he's quite literally part of the future for you. So, like, you need this guy to develop and be your dude. But, yeah, even Kevin Gausman, I guess, could theoretically be in position for a role change if he is costing us games. Don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it'd have to be, honestly, really disastrous. Like, we're looking late May now, and it's like, you got an 8 ERA. What's going on? It'd have to be disastrous for him to lose. If it's like mid-4, like, you're still gonna pitch him because Kevin Gausman, like he's still gonna work through the season. There's times when he's gone through end of May and he's at a mid-4, but then at the end of the year the numbers look great. So you there's some guys where you trust the process. There's others, like I brought up, like Savage and Ponce, we don't really know what your process is. We don't know how you're going to do. So there's a little bit more flexibility there. It's a great problem to have if you're John Schneider. And all these questions are going to solve themselves as injuries happen, as performances happen, as the season goes on. They always seem to figure it out.
Who do you have as the game one guy? I saw people talking about this online today. Is it Cease or is it Kevin Gausman?
I would bet a lot of money it's Kevin Gausman. Yeah, you signed Dylan Cease, but Kevin Gausman's been here. It's the same argument that we've always given to Jose Barrios. It's like, you've been here like a couple more years, maybe a year and a half or more than Kevin Gausman, or maybe just half a season, actually. But we've always given it to Jose Barrios, never Kevin Gausman. Now I feel like Jose Barrios kind of fallen out. Like, he's now kind of on the cusp of the rotation. Feels like Kevin Gausman's the guy. It's his final year. I'd bet a decent amount of money it's going to be.
Oh, I think it's probably going to be him as well. Would you do that?
Yeah, I'd do it.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
He deserves it,
I get that.
Yeah.
I do get that. I guess, it's, if Cease is going to be next year, then Cease is next year. I guess for me, I could see it going either way. I think they'll probably lean on the side of Kevin Gausman being the guy for opening day, just because it still does kind of feel like his rotation.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be stunned either if it is Dylan Cease, because they also did say that moving forward, well, you are the guy for us. You're our guy.
Like, they said that because they paid him a lot of money.
They paid him a shitload of money, the most that they've ever given to a pitcher.
Yeah, and I think it will be a start one day for sure. It's one of those things, and the Blue Jays always do this, where they just kind of honor their guy. Yeah, I like the way you put it. It's your rotation, kind of like it's your team if you're Vladdy. This is Gausman's rotation, and I feel like he is the dude who's been here the longest. He's been through the up and downs with this team. This is your rotation, buddy. Like, go. And that's why he's got the longest leash, too, because it's his rotation.
Ari Pye in here with a donation saying, fellas, make sure you give that Jason Stark article a read. Truly amazing. I saw something about that on Twitter. I did not read it. It's a very good article, apparently. A very, very good article talking about the Toronto Blue Jays in some capacity. I will definitely do that. Thank you for pointing that out, brother, and thank you for the donation. And then Edward in here with the $5 donation saying, Okamoto and Ponce are looking nice. Ponce's stuff will play against MLB hitting, and Okamoto is hitting well against good pitches, including 96 miles per hour. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about some of the individuals who are doing well and some of the guys who are not doing so well so far in spring training. I saw a comment or two in here saying we keep losing, and yeah, it is actually. I mean, I'm not concerned because it's spring training. But it does suck that we're effectively out of the Golden Grapefruit race on March, or not even March. It's February.
Dude, we're dead last.
Yeah, we are dead last. We're terrible right now.
The Tigers got to win. Damn it.
Yeah, 1-5 record right now. Actually, we should be ahead of the Tigers because they have a worse run differential than us.
Yeah, what's the difference? Like,
maybe we lost to.
Yeah, what?
Why are we
last?
Have more.
I don't know. I mean, maybe
not
they
sure.
don't care.
Yeah.
They probably don't give a shit.
It's like at the end of the day, like who gives a crap about the last place of Golden Grapefruit League? But yeah, listen, man. I mean, I'm not gonna completely freak out here because it is just spring training and it doesn't really matter. But you see the LA Dodgers 6-0, and you see the Yankees at 6-2 right now, and then you see the Toronto Blue Jays down there at 1-5, and we are now effectively completely out of the Golden Grapefruit race.
I mean, again, like it's so funny. This is how spring training is every year. When something great happens, we gas it up, and we've done that already this spring training. But when something bad happens, it's just spring training. Just chalk it off, shake it off. It's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever confirms my bias, I'm going to back that. And if it's not confirming my bias, I'm going to throw it to the side. This is not confirming my bias.
Well, here's how we make it all make sense in our brains. That game against Miami, the regulars scored 7 runs. Kevin Gausman had a 3-up, 3-down, 3 strikeout inning to begin the game. Granted, then after that, it all fell apart. But that was the minor league guys, the guys who aren't going to be playing for the big league team that blew the game.
Right.
So there you go.
What
we
about
won that game.
The other 4 losses?
I don't remember those. I don't remember those.
Right,
really.
right. Of course. Yeah, definitely. We were live for that 7-2 collapse that they had. And that wasn't a really fun experience, to be honest, because, you were looking at individuals. They didn't even have the name tags of them up who were blowing games and doing everything like that.
Like the score bug or whatever?
Yeah,
like
the score bug, and also on their jerseys as well, right? So we had no idea who was actually causing the problems. But, yeah, we did inevitably lose that one, and they lost again today. So 1-5 is the record for the Toronto Blue Jays. That being said, though, there are some individuals who are doing well and doing not so well. Let's start with Eloy Jimenez because he's been kind of the talk of Blue Jays town recently. This is somebody who is absolutely going to come up to the team at some point. I'm sure about that. If he has a good enough spring, is he going to come up to the show at the very beginning of the season?
See, I just don't know if right now that's the move you're going to want to make, assuming everyone's healthy and good to go. I mean, I'm thinking about the bench right now. In fact, I'll pull it up. I'm thinking about the bench, and I don't know if there's any room for him. You got Davis Schneider, and that's the name that people are tossing around. Davis Schneider, like that would be an obvious swap of a role right there. But I just don't know. Like, it's spring training. I think Davis has done enough. Last year in the postseason, he was leading off against the Dodgers. Like he has too much of a role, especially against lefties, to just kind of give that up because one guy has a hot spring.
Right.
And he didn't prove anything the last 3-4 years. Maybe that one year we had like 800 OPS, but like that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Like for me, that's why I think he immediately goes down to AAA. And he continues to work on his defense. Continues to work on his outfield defense. I heard that they were flirting with first for him. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, because they were trying to find a way to mold him to fit this team.
I wouldn't hate that because there's just no other option other than Vladdy. And,
right. Exactly.
Granted, it's been great. Vladdy's best ability is his availability, right? He just plays every bloody day there. But there's going to come a season eventually where he is hurt and can't. And then you just don't really have anybody else that is capable of doing that role on the squad.
Who would be first base? Like Ernie Clement, like a backup first baseman, I guess. We've seen Ernie play first before, right? Which is crazy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. I'm pretty sure Ernie's played first before in one wild game.
Someone would have. Actually, I'm
not
even
backup first baseman. Okamoto. I'm dumb.
Right.
It's Okamoto.
Yes.
I'm dumb.
and then you just move everybody else around and make that happen. Again, not necessarily a spot that you want to be in, though.
Right.
Now, I tend to agree with you. I think that Eloy is probably going to start in AAA unless we finish spring training with a 2 OPS or something, and you just make it impossible to ignore. But what about Nathan Lucas? He's got an option as well.
True.
I know he's a lefty, and maybe they don't want to, they don't want to send him down. But I mean, I feel like if between the two of them, who's more important to this team? Is it Davis? Is it Nathan Lucas? Like, if they both have options, I might consider sending Nathan Lucas down.
That's true.
And having Eloy Jimenez up. Look, I'm just saying. If, of course, Eloy Jimenez keeps doing what he's doing, and he's got to make it so impossible to ignore, where it's like, you are going to make an impact in MLB. We think that you're gonna hit a home run a week for us, type of thing, and that's just something that Nathan Lucas wouldn't do.
Yeah, that's definitely the appeal for a guy like Eloy Jimenez, who's 5 for 12 right now, and he has a homer as well under his belt. Yeah, I mean, if he can have an incredible spring. And Lucas, I mean, even if he has a incredible spring, I don't know, maybe that changes things. But if he has an average spring, then maybe there's a fight. But either way, he's one guy on the big league roster going down with an injury away from him just coming up if he still remains high. That's it. So I'm excited to see what we can get from him. Now, what are we expecting from him? Honestly, I don't expect anything. When we first signed him, I didn't even really think at all that he would do much. In fact, I thought probably he would come up at some point and be on the team because he is Eloy Jimenez, but I just thought he'd be sitting on the bench the whole time. And honestly, if he came up and if that's all he did is come up, sit on the bench, have a couple pinch starts, and get sent back down, I'm not butthurt at all. It's minor league signing, right?
Well, to be honest, man, I'm actually expecting Eloy Jimenez to provide some type of value, different value than somebody like a Nathan Lucas, but similar WAR numbers to somebody like a Nathan Lucas. The Toronto Blue Jays' biggest strength last year was that individuals that people either forgot about or overlooked ended up coming up and being really awesome. And I would not be surprised in the slightest if Eloy Jimenez is the perfect David Popkins project,
right,
where we figure it, because he's got, I mean, you want to talk about raw tools, like,
he's got them.
He might have the second or third best just overall raw tools on the team.
Yeah, in terms of power. You know what's funny? Like, they just told him in spring training, like David Popkins, because everyone thinks David Popkins is a big contact guy. They're like, dude, just hit the ball really hard. That was his advice. Hit the ball really hard.
Wow.
Okay, great. That's the thing.
Imagine if that's actually what Popkins is doing. It's
that's probably the summary.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Hit the ball god dang hard, right? But that's where hitting coaches are right. When they recognize a guy's strength, like you're saying, his tools, what do you do best at? Hitting the ball hard. Why would I tell you to hit for contact? That's not your game. Your game is you smash the crap out of the ball.
Yeah.
So do it.
In his best seasons, I think he was hitting like 240, but the OPS was over 800 because it was just double homer, right? We're hitting the balls extremely hard all of the time. So to be completely honest, I am actually expecting just a little bit from Eloy Jimenez, because I think that he fits the mold perfectly for what made this team successful last year, and that is somebody that was completely overlooked, somebody that people underrated, rest of MLB underrated, and then the Toronto Blue Jays were capable of turning him into what a lot of people years ago thought maybe he could be. I'm not saying that he's going to be the superstar that people once assumed,
right?
But yeah, I think that he's going to have a role to play with this squad, and I think that already early on, I know it's spring training and I know it's small sample size, but you're seeing maybe some of those tiny little adjustments already seep through.
That's the thing. That's his upside. If he can be that kind of player on a team, you always need these type of players on a team where you're not expecting anything, and then all of a sudden you're providing such great value, right? And honestly, Ernie was a little bit of that for us last year. Like, who expected almost 5 WAR from this guy? Not me, and he did that. So if Eloy and his zero expectations in my book, I'm going back before spring training. I had zero expectations for him. If he comes up and gives us like a 1 WAR, right, like kind of like a Nathan Lucas, great.
I think, and I think that's well within the range of outcomes.
Yeah.
I also think it's really interesting to note, and I just had this brain thought right now. Think about some of the individuals that they've added, offensively speaking, to this team this offseason. Okamoto, Jesus Sanchez, Eloy Jimenez.
Power.
That's right.
Yeah,
right there, and I think what they're doing there is because especially actually all three of them, right? Because one of them's never played an MLB before. One of them has shown that he can be really good against righties, semi-inconsistently, horrendously bad against lefties, and then the other one just can't stay bloody healthy, right? And I think the Toronto Blue Jays are hoping, they're like, okay, one of these guys is maybe going to hit 30 home runs for us. That's what we're casting a wide net, and we're seeing which one of you is gonna pop off and bring our home run total up. Because last year we didn't have it.
Like collectively, you guys, if you collectively can give us 50 homers,
that would be a massive win.
Yeah, because exactly right. Because like let's say Oki hits like 28. I listened to a Keegan Madsen thing, him talking about Okamoto, and it's like, he could easily, based on his swing, easily hit 30 in a year. 20's given. 20 with his swing, 20 should be given.
Find some wood and knock.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood. No, but seriously, like with that swing, like again, I know I'm biased. Obviously, look around me, look at this channel, and look at what screen you're watching on. I'm on a Blue Jays channel. Obviously, I'm biased, but that swing is just so easy. It's easy. It's like Vladdy's swing that we're going to show a little bit later, where it's like, how the hell did you drive that ball to the wall with one hand? Oki feels like he could do something like that.
Well, I mean, out of the three guys that I brought up, he's obviously the one. Like, if gun to my head, who am I going to bet on to have the best season? It's that guy by a wide margin.
And then if those guys, the other two, at any given point can give you, because Eloy's playing time, we don't know. Same with Jesus, like. I'm thinking about David Schneider of like, you can give me like 10 or 15, at some point.
Yes, and I think that's definitely possible, right? They're shooting shots. I really like, now that we can zoom out and look at this offseason, I really do appreciate that for the most part, they evaluated the areas of need, the holes on the squad, and then they really attacked that, like went hard in the paint attacking that, being starting pitching, a lack of power. Those were kind of the two biggest things. Now, the one thing that they didn't really do, and I would have appreciated, is can we get a closer maybe?
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say stolen bases.
Stolen bases. I've come to just accept that that's never gonna fucking happen, man. Like, that's just something. That's such a luxury for me. That would be the cherry on top of perfection. That's you get Kyle Tucker, right? You get Kyle Tucker, and he can steal a couple bases, and he can do everything for you.
Things. Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah. Honestly, they've done a really good job.
For the most part, this offseason, they established, or I guess evaluated, found the areas of need, found the holes, and then absolutely went after those things and addressed those things. So credit to Ross Atkins, credit for the management, man. I'm hoping that one of Okamoto, Jesus Sanchez, or even Eloy Jimnez can just show up and bring up some of those home run totals. Shout out to Bolero right here with the $5 donation saying, "Let's go." Yeah, we've been getting so many comments recently, just like, hell yeah, boys, let's go.
It's always this time of year.
Yeah,
right?
Everyone's just hyped up. We're back. Especially now that we're 1-5 in spring training. I'm now done with spring training. I'm officially over. It's done for me. I am now ready for the regular season.
Other than the fact that we're going next week.
That's going to be really fun. That's a completely different experience.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not, like, well, obviously I'm going to go and watch some of the game, but, like, you guys will see, we're going to attempt to live stream, like, the first 3 innings of a couple games, and you'll see, like, we're going to just be hanging out, having a good time at the ballpark.
That's more like vibes over everything, okay? That's vibes over everything at this point. But realistically, from a fan standpoint, I am now ready for spring training. It's beautiful that we're going to have the World Baseball Classic kind of sandwiched in the middle of that to give us some actual good baseball. And then it's like, okay, we're only a week or two from actual regular season.
Like, I'm pretty hyped for the World Baseball Classic, man. I can't wait. Obviously, I'm not expecting them to go far. But my expectations for that Canadian team, which I think is, even though they don't have Freddie, I do think they're a little bit better, maybe arguably, than 2023. A little bit deeper in the lineup, I would say, and a little bit deeper in the rotation. Not as top-heavy in the lineup because you don't have Freddie, but a little deeper. And, if they can just make it, like, second in that pool, like, that's a win. And I think they should, actually.
That's the only thing I'm looking for. Can you make it out of your group and alive and get a follow-up game? and then you can get smacked after that, and you might be up against the United States.
That's going to be terrible if they're up against the States, because, if they're second, they're up against the States.
But, or alternatively, it could be redemption for Olympics.
I know. You know what's crazy, actually? Okay, let's paint the picture. The United States beat Canada in Canada's game, hockey. what if there was a magical upset where Canada beats USA in America's game?
Yeah.
Baseball.
Dude, it's one game. Right? It's
Right,
I mean,
right.
obviously, we'd be such significant, heavy underdogs,
Yeah.
but it's one game of baseball.
And you know they're not going to pitch Skenes or Skubal for the Canada game. Why would they? Because they came out and they said they're only going to pitch like once. I think Skenes says he'll pitch twice, but they're not going to waste those guys on us.
Yeah, they're gonna. That's the thing. They're gonna underrate us, and then 4 innings in, they're gonna be like, "Oh,
we're
get
pitching.
Skenes going." It's gonna be too late at that point.
We're going to be
It's gonna
pitching
too late.
Jameson Tyone that game for sure.
100%. Everybody's going to be locked in, hard in the paint for that one, and then
Yeah.
we're going to catch them off guard, and and they're flat-footed, and it's all over, and Canada wins everything, and
That'd be
it's awesome.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Would
that
that
would-
make up for the
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not.
No,
Yeah.
it's definitely not the same.
Yeah, not even in the slightest, dude. Not even in the slightest, but it would be a tiny little chip
Yeah.
away at making me feel marginally better.
I control a little bit.
Dimitri just saying, first stream I've caught listening in while stuck in traffic on the 401. Oh, RIP,
Oh,
dude. Get home
no.
safe. With our current performance, any chance we win the Golden Grapefruit? Very unlikely, dude. We looked at it last game stream.
Yeah.
Last year, they had a record of 18-10. So if we're assuming that is kind of the loose benchmark here, you got to get to about 18 wins. Then over there it was 21 wins for San Francisco. So maybe we were even at the floor of what you needed to do. You're talking about losing 3 or 4 or 5 more games. So
Yo, hold up. I'm just realizing here. How does Kansas City have 20 wins and 12 losses? Are they uneven spring training games? This is 21-6. That's a weird. It's total side thought. Maybe there's tie games in there that I'm missing.
there's got to be tie
Yeah,
games.
that's probably what it is,
Yeah, got to be
actually.
tie games. Yeah, 100%, dude. Again, it's
Anyway.
it's a stupid league. Nobody gives a crap about it. We are going to lose it, though.
If we were in first, though, we'd be talking.
100%.
Different
Yeah,
talk right
we're
now.
all the way back, bro.
Yeah,
we are all the way
exactly.
back if we're in first place. Make me feel better. Who's doing shit on the other side of things?
On the NL?
Yeah, is there anyone here that's good?
Or the not NL Cactus League?
Oh, see, this is how we know it doesn't matter. Colorado's got 6 wins. Colorado's got 6 wins. None of this matters. None of
That's
this
true.
matters.
Yeah, none of this matters, guys.
Doesn't matter.
Although in the regular season, I'm not trying to justify this. Sometimes you'll always get that one team, like the Rockies, where you're like, how the fuck did they go 6-2 to begin the year?
It will happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna
And usually there's one squad that can maintain that for about the first 2.5 months, and you're
Right.
like, wait, how are the Minnesota Twins still sticking around?
Yeah,
like
and
they're
then-
doing really good, and then eventually the nosedive will hit, man.
Or then there's the opposite, where it's like a team gets off to a horrendous start, and then they just pick it up. I remember they did make playoffs. Excuse me, I forgot about this. Boston Red Sox got off to a terrible start.
It's a long season.
terrible
It's a
start
long
last
season.
year.
You got to dig yourself like a really bad hole. You got to be, going like, I don't know how many games they play, but like, let's just say if you go 10-20 for the first 2 months, both times, so you
Right.
end up being 20-40. That wouldn't be what it actually is, but
Yeah.
that might be a big enough hole to really sink your season. But
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, I mean, you're basically everyone's still in it by the end of
Yeah,
May.
I mean the Blue Jays. I'm thinking. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something like they were like 3 or 4 games under 500 by the end of April last year.
Yeah, we had a bad April. We had a
terrible
bad
April.
April, and then May was kind of like, I think we were okay in May. Like we were decent in May,
Yeah,
but
we
it
were
wasn't anything
decent.
like
Like
overwhelmingly
500,
good.
yeah.
And then it was June that it's like, oh, whoa, wait a second, here we are coming to life, and then we cemented that we were here in the beginning of July.
You know what's funny? Because I'm thinking back to May and what changed for the Jays. A couple things. Barsher got more playing time, got really hot in that month, and Santander hit the IL. We finally stopped
dude,
playing him.
Santander was.
He was
I
tanking
remember
us.
that for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He was killing us,
Yeah.
and it was because you were seeing Vladdy get on and Bo get on and Springer
strike.
getting on, and Springer was going crazy. We
Also-
were like, oh, we got to capitalize on this
Yeah.
Springer hype because this isn't going to last all season. And then Anthony Santander just kept killing every single
Yep.
potential scoring inning. and that obviously happened. And then I also remember this. Hoffman was incredible in April, and then he fell off in May. And he had a terrible May. And then we started losing games like that, and we were thinking, season's over. This is bad. Oh, shit. And then, of course, the Magic, the Lightning, whatever you want to call it.
Everything worked out. Then there was, literally that stretch from, June to, I would say, about the end of August, because September, Bo got hurt and things got a little murky. That whole summer stretch was,
we were the best team.
We were the best
Statistically speaking, we were the best team in baseball for those 3 months right there. And then that's what did it. And then you're right, they fell off a little bit in September, but then recaptured it in October, and then you guys know the rest of the story.
Man, we're just reminiscing. You know what? Obviously, it goes without saying that year is just gonna be one of those years I'm gonna think about all the time, all the time. I'm gonna have happy, fond memories. Same with 2015. I don't think about 2016 as much actually. 2015 was magical, but that one, 2025, 10 years later, magical.
Yeah, I think so as well, man. I think that's kind of solidified it for me. I didn't have a really good. There's just a couple moments where I didn't have good necessarily memories for this. And what I mean by that is Canada Day. I didn't really have a Canada Day memory associated with Toronto. I know there was a couple times where it was cool shit happened, but beating the Yankees in a 4-game series sweep, that really stood out to me. And that's still when I think back to last season, that's one of the things where it's that's on the tiny list of things that I remember. Yeah. And then also too, the final game of the season or final series of the season where Alejandro Kirk just went nuclear mode and was we ain't playing in a fucking wild card, boys. I am gonna take us to the promised land, and did so. So there's just a couple pieces of real estate that filled up for me in terms of the memory bank, and of course the World Series and
I'll never forget that, man. And you know what? That's why we watch sports, really, at the end of the day. And I hope that we can make some more memories. It's gonna be hard to top last year. That's the thing, because 2016, even though it was a great year for the Jays, still going to the ALCS against the Guardians, I don't really remember it other than Edwin's walk-off in the wild card against the Baltimore Orioles. I don't really remember the events of that year.
I know you got to go further now.
You got to win it all.
You have to win it all.
You got to win it all, right?
You got to win it all, man. That's why I don't envy Dodger fans, right? Because this is so numbing to them at this point, right? What are we doing here? Why are we excited? You've done it so many times, right? It's dude, you got drunk on Friday, you got drunk on Saturday, getting drunk on Sunday it feels like work now, right? It's not even fun anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't get drunk, you're okay, I'm hungover all day.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Hurts. This hurts.
It's terrible. So maybe a bad analogy there, but let's move on and talk about another one of the big time performers here in spring training so far, Brendan Little. He's added 2 miles per hour to his just overall his pitches, which is certainly exciting. Brendan Little, one of those guys where the swing for him, the floor is low, the ceiling is high, though.
Look at the metrics. You can literally see the floor and ceilings with the blue and the red. Of how saturated it is. Look at the K rate. Look at the walk rate. Completely, the whiff rate at the 100 percentile. Unbelievable. But 2 miles per hour isn't no joke, Nick. That is a lot.
I know, it's significant.
That's a lot right there.
It is significant.
Last year at 93.4 on his sinker, he didn't throw the four seam too much, but 93.4 on the sinker was his average. And now I believe right here his sinker so far in spring is 96.2. Maybe now, and this is where my thinking is, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he did, again, remember guys, he had a great first half, and I do believe part of the philosophy of why he struggled is the fact he was the one lefty and he kept getting overworked, and when you get enough looks of a guy, the book is out, and he didn't really make adjustments, and maybe that's part of his fault as well. But now I'm looking at a dude who maybe he can let his stuff live in the zone a little bit because he's got a little bit of velocity to him, whereas last year he lived in the zone, he got beat up. So maybe he can live in the zone a little bit and cut down those walks.
You gotta hope so. Very quickly, Miss Blue in here saying, a Dodgers fan in here clapping back at me. So, you know what? Look, it's a little bit of copium on my point saying I don't envy you guys because secretly I kind of do. But that's the one argument that I have against, I guess, Dodger fans right now. It's you guys are living such a life of luxury. How could you possibly appreciate it?
You tell me, here. You tell me, Miss Blue, if you lost in the NLCS, would you be pissed off or like or would you be upset about the year and say this is a loss of a year? Maybe not. Maybe you're a more understanding person that it's hard to get to the NLCS, but probably people would. Let's say you get swept in the NLCS. Would that be a loss of a year? I think so. Probably.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that'd be a big loss of a year.
The Dodgers, it's very simple.
That's what I'm saying.
You win the World Series or you have a bad year.
You have to go to the World Series every year.
No, you don't have to go. You have to win every year. You have the greatest player of all time. You are spending $400 million. You have to win every year.
Yes, you do. But like minimum, you have to make it. You have to go to the World Series every year. You got to pay for those contracts. I mean, the TV deal already pays for it.
TV deal, they're fine. I'm sure that they'll be fine.
Anyways, we digress. Again, Brendan Little, if he lives in the zone a little bit more, I think he can have more success. He's got to find the zone. Because here's the thing. When he kept missing the zone, it was very obvious how he was missing the zone. He was missing the zone with that knuckle curve. Mm-hmm. I mean, when your red heat map is below the zone...
Yeah,
you're missing the zone.
Statistically speaking, I can just sit back and if you throw that one pitch to me the entire at bat, I have a greater than 50% chance to walk.
Correct.
Because it looks to me, I'm eyeballing this right now, but it looks to me that roughly 25% of his knuckle curves are in the zone, maybe even less than that. Actually,
gotta be less,
right?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's so majority of the time. You're going to throw that thing as a ball. So if I can see that, if I can pick up on that out of the hand, I will take it every single time.
Yes.
And I will eventually work myself on it.
And if he can live in the zone with his sinker, that's 2 miles per hour faster, and batters have to consider this knuckle curve, which maybe they don't even anymore because they're like, well, I'm just going to lay off it. But if they do, which they might, and that's when he has had success, then he might be able to have success if he can live it in the zone. Look at last year, the batting average against that sinker was 248. Like, yeah, it's not great, it's not terrible, but if you can lower that to like a low 200, that's when you see good pitchers start to emerge, when people can't hit your fastball, and that's what it would be. You can't hit the sinker. That's the fastball for him. Mm-hmm. Like, again, live in the zone. He needs to live in the zone, and I'm sure they're talking to him about that. I mean, and I hope that it plays out for him. We'll see how it goes.
Look, I think that he's certainly in the camp of potential bounce back. I'm not as bullish on this as our buddy Aaron Ben Rose is. If you've seen some of his recent stuff, he's thinking that Brendan Little is going to be the next coming of Jesus Christ, man. Like he is so far on the Brendan Little camp right now.
Pump the brakes, Aaron.
Yeah, I personally, I am excited for him, and I think that there's absolutely something there because that first half doesn't just happen by accident, but I also am significantly concerned about that second half because it felt to me like, yes, the overworking was a real thing, but also the league really figured you out. So I got to see you have not only just have your stuff look better, but you got to have a different game plan than you had last year. You can't fall back to your same habits because people realized what those habits were. You
can't go fastball, and then when you're in a 0-2 count, it's just knuckle curve.
Yeah, because that happens so many times, dude. So many times.
Did they get rid of the Plinko here? Oh, don't
It's probably somewhere. Everybody's changing their interface.
Why would they?
I hate it.
Okay, guys. Yeah, like we had this literally. I think this might have been last Blue Jays Today show. We literally talked about this. There used to be a Plinko chart that would show me what percentage he would throw a pitch in a certain count. I love that Plinko chart because you could really tell the good pitchers from the bad. And I would bet that his Plinko chart last year was, I'm ahead of the count, knuckle curve at 90% of the time. Mm-hmm. And then as a batter, I'm thinking, okay, well, if I know it starts at this arm angle and it's coming out this way, that will be a knuckle curve. I'm going to lay off. And that's it. And you know, when you're behind, here comes the sinker that's only 94, 93. I can hit that. So yeah, I don't really see it here, but I wish, or maybe it's this one. I'll find it. But yeah, that's Brendan Little. You guys let us know in the comments down below what you think. Do you think Brendan Little's in for a bounce back? Because a lot of people I would have bet are pretty
I'll
split.
tell you what, man. There's been a big discourse right now online recently that
I found it.
Eric Lauer needs to get traded. Okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
You seem so excited about
I
this.
I do. Look at this. Come on. 0-2. Hold on. 100% of the time on 0-2, the batter got a curveball. Like,
yeah, I mean,
come on, man.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
1 and 2. It's like 95. As a batter, I'm betting on that.
It's
the
just so
curveball's
easy
coming.
to work yourself back into the count here. And then look at the other side of things too, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's also very simple. Like if I'm ahead of the count, I get fastball all the time. If I'm behind in the count, I get curveball all the time.
Yeah.
This is why for me, like I do think that there's absolutely room for growth here.
Yeah.
But this needs to change dramatically.
Man, and dude, what's crazy to me is like I don't know why. Maybe someone is telling him, he's just ignoring them. Why is no one seeing this and going, dude? Like, if you throw a sinker on 0-2, you're gonna catch a lot of people looking, especially in the second half of the year, because that's what it was. They figured you out, dude. If you just throw a sinker 0-2, you're gonna get a strikeout looking. Mm-hmm. You will,
yeah,
because they're going, okay, curveball's coming. Oh shit, right there.
Exactly.
Like,
and
hello?
The curveball has a 15% chance to be a strike.
Yeah,
so,
like,
I mean, obviously, I'm 1-2 now. Basically, I'm 0-2. I'm actually 1-2.
Unbelievable.
Against Brendan Little in 2025.
Anyway.
So, ultimately, yes, to your point, to my point as well, I like Brendan Little, and I think that he's got a big role. He does have a big role to play with this team. I also think that his ceiling is just as high as anybody. That has to change dramatically. Mm-hmm. And I'm not ready. I'm not as bullish as Aaron or various others to immediately say, oh, but just because the miles per hour is up, like he's automatically going to be better, because that actually doesn't matter unless that changes.
All right, here, I'll throw out another argument of that. Pearson threw 100.
Right. Yeah.
He couldn't hit the zone.
Because and ultimately, it's like, was the stuff the problem for Brendan Little last year? No. You look at you look at the baseball savant, and all of that's in like 90th percentile or higher when it comes to his stuff and his breaking stuff and everything. Like the stuff was never the issue. It was how we were using the stuff and how we were setting people up, the sequencing and all of that. So that's what needs to change. So far in spring training, he's looking good. Granted, it is just spring training. Also, Bolero here saying, who you got? Halifax Mooseheads or St. John's Sea Dogs? Sea Dogs are up 2-0. I'm a big Halifax Mooseheads guy personally myself.
I played NHL. I guess it was their version of Road to the Show. I think it's career mode or whatever. I was a Sea Dogs guy. I forget who I played with. Maybe.
Right.
Oh, you know who I played with? Actually, I remember now. It's all clocking in. Did Jonathan Huberdeau, you wouldn't know this, but like, did Jonathan Huberdeau play for the Sea Dogs back in the day?
I
think he was on my team.
I was just joshing around, man, but the fact that you actually know any of this is kind of blowing my mind.
It's because I played NHL, and I had a Road to the Show version of that, and I think I was on the line with Jonathan Huberdeau.
Wow.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong.
Wow, Bolero saying yes, that's crazy.
Oh my God, that pull! I don't know where that pull came from.
That's a ludicrous pull, man. That's a ludicrous pull.
Childhood memory pull right there. That's crazy.
NP leader in here saying, "Go Jays, love y'all." W's in the chat, man. Thank you very much for all of that. Let's talk a little bit about the potential trade of Eric Lauer. The discourse right now that's transpiring. I know that out of the 235 people that are in here right now, some of you are thinking that it's a good idea to trade Eric Lauer. Shout out, by the way, to everybody that's in here. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like, smash that subscribe button. To those people that think trading away Eric Lauer is a good idea, you are wrong, and I'm going to tell you why you are wrong. One, if we are to believe or hope that Brendan Little is going to have a good, strong bounce-back season, and if we are to agree that a reason as to why he didn't have the best possible season last year was due to his utilization and getting overused, then is it a good idea to trade away some of the lefties on this roster? No, probably not.
No.
So, one, keeping Eric Lauer should theoretically take some of the load off of Brendan Little and Mason Fluharty, who are the other two potential lefties that the Toronto Blue Jays have, which should also then, in turn, help them. Number two, he is the only lefty option that we have that could maybe ever start a game for us. Brendan Little's never going to start a game for us. Mason Fluharty's never going to start a game for us. The only other guy that maybe could have one day started a game for us that's a lefty is Ricky Tiedemann. And now his elbow is hurting again, and he's injured again, and God only knows if he's going to come back
this year. But here's the thing, and when I say like he'll never start this year, I think that's all that matters is this year. Like, what are we trying to do this year, guys? What are we trying to do this year? Trying to win a World Series, right? We're trying to win a World Series. Eric Lauer is a great player. He's not getting paid like a great player. Pretty underpaid. Shout out to our wavelength. But he's a great player, and we want to have guys on the team that can play good. Why are we trading him? Just think about it. We're just trading him because we're thinking, oh, we have a surplus here. Okay, what position would you get for Eric Lauer on the team?
This is what it boils down to for me, right? I mean, ultimately, if I'm trading Eric Lauer, I'm probably trading Eric Lauer for Eric Lauer.
Like, right, a lefty in the pen. If you were to, because rotation's full. The lineup is completely full. We're having conversations right now about, playing time over Lucas versus Eloy Jimnez right now. What you want is a lefty out of the bullpen, but why would I trade away Eric Lauer for a lefty out of the pen that probably isn't available right now, because people don't want to trade away their bullpen good lefties right now, right before opening day, like a month before opening day. They want to keep them because they're so valuable. So let's say even if I did find one, okay, I'm trading away a guy maybe that could give me less innings out of the bullpen that's also a left. It just doesn't make any sense. Also, you might go, oh, what about prospects? What prospects would you possibly get for Eric Lauer? Like right now. He's a year left of his deal, and people probably don't value him just like the Blue Jays do, or don't, excuse me. Like, I want Eric Lauer on this team because he plays such a Swiss Army knife role, like you said, second lefty out of that bullpen, and could be the only lefty in the rotation if given the opportunity to. It makes absolutely zero sense.
Now, there are some people suggesting, well, and I see actually Katie Flower-Smith in here saying, watching Lauer today, he just didn't seem to have his heart in the game. And the reason why you believe that is because he wants to be a starter. I understand that. He played really well last year. So well, in fact, that he does deserve to start some games. John Schneider just said
this
is what started this whole conversation off. John Schneider just said that their performance dictates it. Everyone's a big boy. They understand where we're at. Eric Lauer can still be on the Toronto Blue Jays and can still find a way to get paid next year. All he has to do is pitch well. Because if he pitches really well, I'm sure that since he is also a lefty, they would love the opportunity to potentially have him as one of their starters, especially if somebody is underperforming or somebody gets injured, which has already happened, by the way, and will continue to happen as the season goes on.
Man, I've talked about this in a video room earlier this week. I got a short, actually, clipping when I talked about it in that video room coming out probably tomorrow or the next day, how Eric Lauer will actually get opportunities to start early in the year this year. Because when you look at what we brought up earlier in this podcast, Shane Bieber might not come back till end of April or early May. Same with Max Scherzer, maybe even later. We don't know because he's got to report to camp. We got to figure out where he's at right now. If that's the case, you've got a guy named Trey Savage who they're monitoring right now in terms of his workload. He hasn't even pitched in a single spring training game right now. And they might, as they said, John Schneider said, might push him back or skip his starts. Okay, well, if you're skipping his starts, you're not going to make Kevin Gausman pitch with one less day of rest. No, not nor Dylan Cease or Berrios or Ponce for that matter. Let's put in Eric Lauer today, and let's get an opportunity for him to eat up some innings to get us to that next day. So there you go. Eric Lauer is going to play a vital role out of the gate, and if he's great, and this is what it comes down to, if you give him the opportunity, and he's great for April and maybe half of May, and now people come knocking on the door, Bieber and Scherzer, the management has to make a decision. Do we bring them up right now, or do we let Eric Lauer cook?
No, you're going to, and that's the thing.
Right?
If John Schneider is true to what he's saying, you're going to let Eric Lauer cook.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to do. You're going to let him cook. I don't want to trade away one of our only lefty options here and go back to just having Brendan Little and Mason Fluharty. That's just not the spot that I want to be in. Now, I see somebody in the chat asking, Penji in here, saying, what's the argument for trading him anyways? So let's look at the other side of the coin. Let's actually try to argue ourselves into trading Eric Lauer.
Okay.
For me, the only way that it makes sense to get rid of somebody like that on the team that is in a position of need and a position of strength that has the versatility that he has is if you are getting back a return. Like, ultimately, I need to be getting a return where I'm really thinking this is a win. So I'm getting another option at closer that is a really solid option that could help in the back end. I don't think we're going to get that.
No.
I don't think that's going to... Or we're getting, when they were flirting with going and like Stephen Kwan. Like, he's a big, vital piece to getting someone that's going to be a significant upgrade in the lineup, in the offense, that is like, oh, wow, this is a really good player. And if Eric Lauer plus a prospect is what gets it done for Steven Kwan, okay, you got me. You got me.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how, no one's valuing him like that. So unless a team calls you up and says, St. Louis Cardinals call you and say, hey guys, or the Arizona Diamondbacks are like, hey gentlemen, Ketel Marte is available. We really like your guy Eric Lauer.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
I don't see it.
The other argument I thought of is you got a budding superstar that is knocking down the door in your minor leagues right now. Just Paul Skenes level stuff. You got to get rid of somebody. And we got to get him off the roster, and we don't care if we're taking a loss and we're desperate. We either DFA or trade him. That's what we got to do. That's just not happening either. That's not happening either.
I don't. How often do teams
have budding superstars? Like,
we need to get rid of this young, cheap prospect who's going to be elite in your system.
Or no, we need to get rid of Eric Lauer to make room for That was what my argument was.
I see.
And it's like, well, we got to cut somebody. It's Eric Lauer, so I guess we can't just DFA him. We got to trade him now. Like that, but that's not the situation either. So
and then there'll be other guys too that you could easily get rid of before Eric Lauer.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Exactly. So it just doesn't. And that's where I keep going back to. Like, it doesn't make sense. You got to keep. I want to win a World Series. That's what it comes down to. And I think Eric Lauer is a good part of that. Now, Katie does bring up a good point. Does he want to be on this team? Because that's the thing. When you're on the outside looking in, and again, he's on a contract year. He's got to make some money. Same with Jose Barrios. If they're not bought into that idea, then there's decisions that might need to be made.
That's the thing. That's something that we don't know. We can only speculate on that. I can't possibly imagine a world where he couldn't be. And if he can't wrap his head around the opportunities that he has here, that's very disappointing to me because I think that ultimately, if you just play well, you will get opportunities and people will see you. Like, you're going to start games for us, and ultimately you're only going to get paid even if you go to the Athletics and you start for the Athletics, you're only going to get paid anyways if you play well anyways. Like, you're like, playing well, it has got to be the crux here. So
play well.
Right? If you play well, you be a starter. If you don't play well, you're not a starter, but then you also don't get paid anyways. And that's the same thing over there as it is over here. So I just think that unless they actually went to him and they said, fuck you, Eric. I don't care. You got a negative ERA. You ain't starting a game for us. If they did that, all right. Yeah, I understand it.
We'll make a trade happen.
Yeah,
all right,
I get it now. But I highly doubt that's the conversations that have been had.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have opportunities here if he can buy into those opportunities.
That's the thing, and I hope that he is bought in, because you're right. The one lingering thing, Katie, is that he wants to be a starter, but like John said, and kind of the overall, question of this podcast, well, what's John saying? What's the big change? What's the interesting rotation battle? It's the fact that he can actually get in if he just plays darn well. Let's give a quick shout out here to a sponsor of the podcast, everybody. It is Sports Interaction, Sportsbook and Casino. Every day is your game when you bet with Sports Interactions, Canada's homegrown sportsbook. I believe the line I brought up here was kind of an interesting one here. Let me bring it up. Yeah. Oh yeah. Most wins in the regular season. As you guys know, Sports Interaction is coming out with a bunch of season-long prop bets and things like that. And one of them I thought was so interesting. Out of every team in baseball, all 30, the Dodgers are under, I guess if you were to use a standard betting term, like they're negative odds right now. You bet $100, you'll get back 67, which means they are definitely the heavy favorites. Usually
not even 67, 57.
Excuse me, 57. Thank you. Got to get those new glasses for myself. But yeah, 57. That's even crazier. Like, that's almost negative if you're comparing it to other sportsbooks. That's almost negative 200 for them to beat every other team in baseball in terms of wins. Blue Jays, by the way, are fourth with 16 times your money. So interesting stuff. Anything look valuable there? Or is this just a trap?
Well, do I like anything here? I don't know, man. I don't like any of it.
It's one of those bets because it's so like everyone's just accepted. Oh yeah, Dodgers are gonna have the most.
But
wins,
the thing is, the Dodgers had 93 last year. Am I correct in saying that? 93
Yeah, I think
wins?
we had more because we were home team.
Yes,
in the World Series.
I think it was 93 wins that the Dodgers had.
So
granted, that's a terrible floor for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
We had to hit the ceiling. Yeah.
You know what I would do? You didn't even have it there, but I'm sprinkling a couple bucks on the Milwaukee Brewers, who are always in the mix every year. Doesn't matter, and they did it last year.
I'm gonna find it.
I bet
they're actually getting underrated.
Of course they are. They always do. They're not even in the top.
They're not even in the top 8.
Yeah, of course they're not.
Dude, the Brewers are 26 times. Oh wow.
Yeah,
sprinkle.
I'm throwing a couple bucks on the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm gonna ride it out. And hey, look, the Tigers are right behind them too. So
wow, that sounds like a great.
Tigers are going to feast on Tigers are going to feast on their own division.
Yeah, they are.
So
that's so true, guys. What the heck? Yeah. Like, actually, hop on the sports.
In fact, I probably wouldn't take anyone in the American League East, just because
they'll beat each other up.
They were going to beat each other up, and as much as the Dodgers are. It's the best team ever, and they could win 110 games and make me look really stupid. I would also say that against the Dodgers, everyone's playing their best brand of baseball. Like, everyone wants to go in and beat LA. There's no off days. Not saying that there's an off day against a bad team, but, mentally speaking, you might be a little bit out of it. And, game 85 against Miami, like, I'm not giving it my all. Against LA, you are. Every time. So they're going to get the hardest competition, even though it's you're playing in the Athletics. Well, they're playing you harder than they play anyone.
All right, that's true. Well, guys, that's Sports Interaction, man. You can go check it out. It actually now I don't have any money in my betting account. I said this on the last live stream. I am going to put some money in Sports Interaction for this upcoming year. We might be doing a cool thing with Sports Interaction where we're going to have like a bankroll, and then we kind of like make bets on every Blue Jays Today show, and then we go live. So we'll go do a fun little thing like that. We'll keep track. It'd be kind of cool. But I would actually, if I could tap in that bankroll early, I might even throw $1 on that. That'd be crazy. But guys, check out Sports Interaction, Sportsbook, and Casino. They got you covered with pitch-by-pitch live betting and easy deposits and payouts. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. Go to sportsinteraction.com/BJN to open an account. Ontario only, 18+. Please play responsibly. Do you want to get us some questions, or you want?
Yeah, let's do a couple questions right here. I actually see a very quick question here from Bowler saying, Nick, favorite Mooseheads player? For me, all time. I mean, honestly, I know that there's a big argument for Jordan Dumas. But honestly, I'm a big Darcy Ashley guy, personally.
I just saw him look that up. I was like, what are you?
No, you should let him out, man.
I had to expose you. That was hilarious. You should have seen it from my perspective. I was like, wait, what the? Because I'm over here like, well, where are these names coming from? Oh, he's got, what is that? The roster this year? Is that all time?
Yeah, all-time leading point getters for those guys. I could not name you you gun to my head. I could not name a single Moosehead player, and I would be dead.
Before that. Actually, do you remember them? What you just
Darcy Ashley. I remember this.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So I know one.
Hey.
I know one at this current juncture of time. We got a couple questions from you guys. If you're interested in ever submitting to our mailbag, please feel free to do so. The link is in our description. We got a video question coming in right here, and then we also got a couple text questions, and then we'll sign off.
Yeah, this one comes in from JD. So shout out to the young man. He looks like he's enthusiastic on camera, so give him a big shout out right here. Let's listen to his question.
Is Otani a top 10 pitcher? Me, myself, I don't think he is. I mean, okay, here, I'll at least give my top 10. I have Skenes, Screwball, Crochet, Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, a consistent Kevin Gausman, Goodyear Dylan Cease, the Ranger Suarez from the Red Sox, Sonny Gray, and Logan Webb. And there was another guy I had in mind. I don't know, but yeah. I just don't think Otani is that good of a pitcher. He's a little overrated on the pitching side. He's not that good.
Okay, Nick. So shout out to JD. Thank you for your question. Otani, is he a top 10 pitcher in your books?
No. Otani is not a top 10 pitcher in my books. I will also say, though, ultimately, when you're going through a top 10 list, and I appreciate the question, but when you're going through a top 10 list and you have to start qualifying guys by saying a consistent Kevin Gossman, a Goodyear Dylan Cease, Like,
I'll be honest,
they're probably
Kevin
not
Gausman
in the
isn't my
top
top
10.
10. Yeah, he's not in my top 10. Yeah,
because you're right. Yeah, when Gausman's pitching his best, he is. But he doesn't always pitch his best. And there are other guys that I put over him. I would also kick Otani out in terms of the pitching. He just doesn't pitch enough, man. He doesn't pitch enough for me to actively say that. He is maybe talent-wise, just pure raw talent.
Sure. Yeah.
Pound for pound, okay, I could be there. But, we just don't see him enough to actively say right now. Like, I'm not taking that guy, for instance, over who's a fringe top 10 pitcher right now. Like Logan Gilbert. I'm taking Logan Gilbert 10 times out of 10. Gilbert. Right? I'm taking him over from just a pitching size.
In fact, I brought up here this from Rotographs. Shout out to Fantasy Baseball. We should probably get our league together soon because I thought about that the other day. Top 10 fantasy pitchers because I was trying to look up who are the best at WAR, but that really wouldn't factor in Otani because he hasn't really pitched that much from a pitching side of things. So I was just like, okay, who are the top 10 that you would draft on your fantasy team in any given year? So, this year, it'd be obviously Scooble, Skenes, Crochet, that's what he mentioned, top 3 off the bat. Yamamoto, too. Gilbert's in there, like you mentioned. Hunter Green, kind of sneaky. Forget about him. He was really good last year. Christopher Sanchez, Max Fried, Cole Reagans. We kind of forget about him as well.
Yeah, he was awesome, right?
He was awesome.
There's a lot of good. There's so many good
Hunter
pitchers,
Brown.
and at the end of the day, it's like Otani maybe could be there, but he also hits 50 home runs a year. So
that's why he's getting overrated is because he also does that. Whereas right here, he actually is he's top 13. He's ranked 13th right now. Which
I think I'm taking Freddie over him.
I think that's the hype. I would take Joe Ryan over him too.
I'm taking
the health.
Yeah.
I don't know what I can't be relying on you for my fantasy team.
No, I'm drafting a lot of people over Shohei Otani in just a pitching standpoint.
Yeah.
Because ultimately the LA Dodgers, again, when is he? They got so many good people, anyways. If there was ever even the tiniest little bit of a concern that Otani's overworking himself, we're just gonna shut you down and we're gonna let you steal 50 bags instead. Yeah. Because we're okay. Yeah. We're okay in the pitching side of things. Thank you very much for the question, though. We do appreciate it.
We got a one more question here. I was just reading over because we actually just answered a lot of these questions
by accident.
Yeah, during the podcast. A lot of them, Drew Gamer, Vananesh, Corey. Corey has one saying that I was gonna bring this one up, but I feel like it's an easy answer. Thoughts on trading for Bryce Harper? That will never happen.
That's never going to happen, man. Would love that to happen. Never going to happen.
But yeah, to those guys, other guys, we already answered all that. It's like who do you play now that you have Scherzer? We had a whole large segment about that. This one comes in from Lucas A, though, talking about two things. Cody Ponce will be one of the Jays' best pitchers, coming up with a statement, for the Jays this year, and even an all-star. And 2, why is George Springer wearing a U.S. hockey jersey? I am no longer a fan of him. That one did sting, I'm not going to lie, especially the boys after coming from the bar, losing to USA, going on my phone immediately and seeing George Springer. He's allowed to, by the way. I want to say that right out of the gate. He's allowed to. He's a U.S. hockey fan. Totally allowed to do that. But it hurt because it's like, dude, you're playing for the Jays, and a lot of Canadian fans love you, and they're not feeling good right now. Again, he doesn't have to worry about our feelings. He's in his own right to do his own thing because he's a fan. He can celebrate whatever he wants. But it did hurt.
Well, you know what? That did suck. Yeah, that just sucks.
It just sucks. Again, I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
At the end of the day, they won, and if I don't know if he's a diehard fan of hockey or not.
He is.
But okay, then okay, there you go. Right? If you're a big hockey guy, and obviously he's from USA, so he's gonna be supporting the lad. So yeah, I'm not too upset about it. Like at the moment, after being in the bag and losing like that, I wasn't loving it.
No, I wasn't loving it.
But
it's like, come on, George, you play for Canada's team right now. Like, you should be more considerate. But again, I would flip it around to your perspective. If you were playing on an American team and you were Canadian, you were celebrating. It's just he's allowed to do it. He's a sports fan.
Yeah,
he's allowed to.
And ultimately, he's signed to the Toronto Blue Jays. He's not signed to the Canada Blue Jays.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, it's kind of the same way I felt a little bit when Vladdy chooses to play for the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic over Canada. Like, you could play for Team Canada, you could be here, you're on the Toronto Blue Jays, but you go play for the Dominican Republic. You're well within your right to do so. I'm not going to get I would like it if it was the other way around. Personally for me, but you guys don't care about that. And that's fine.
Of course. And then I guess the first part of it's more of a statement, and I guess the question would be, do you agree that Cody Ponce will be one of the best pitchers to make the All-Star team?
That's such a tough thing for me to just jump in on and say. Like, that's just pure hopium, I
That's
think.
one of those things where that's what takes us to like, oh shit, we're a lot better than we thought we were. If Cody Ponce just did that out of the gate, we're like, wow. Because right now, I don't know about you, I'm expecting not that at all. Like, that's not even in the realm of possibility for me.
Dude, I don't even really think about Cody Ponce that much.
No, he's just
when I'm evaluating this rotation.
Yeah.
And it's because I have no idea.
Right.
I really have no idea at all. You were really bad when you were in MLB before. You're a completely different pitcher now. Just a completely different pitcher. So is that pitcher one that's going to be an all-star, or are we going to revert back to where we were? I have no idea, dude. I have absolutely no idea. He feels like a prospect to me.
Yeah,
really.
Honestly.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. The KBO is related a lot of the times to like a AA, a little bit better than a AA level.
Like 2.5A.
Yeah, exactly. Like a 2.5A. And he just dominated there. So it's effectively like, oh, we just had a top prospect for us, kick ass in AA for a year, and now we're going to bring him up.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think it could be nice, but it's a completely different animal up against the New York Yankees than whatever the teams you were up against.
Again, it's one of those things where, I mentioned this before, when you have guys step out of nowhere and give you a lot, 3, 4, 5, 6 WAR even, that's when you go on World Series runs, like Ernie Clement stepping up and almost getting a 5 WAR. Barger coming out of nowhere. It's like, oh, okay, here's our lefty masher now that we just have out of freaking nowhere. That, and then Trey Savage near the end. That's the kind of stuff that brings you on those runs. If you want to be one of those, he could be. He could be. He's a prospect. We don't know. He's a mystery box. But I'm not expecting it.
No, Katie Flyer Smith saying we got to get him on the show. He's a huge Star Wars guy. I know. I've been following along with him, and just he does seem like an awesome person. Yeah. Just an awesome, grounded individual. Such a Star Wars fan. Multiple tattoos. His number is based on Star Wars. So he's just deep into the lore at that point, which I can respect. Right? we're all nerding out about something. This morning I was like glued to my phone watching the Pokemon Day reveals as that was happening. If anybody in here is a Pokemon fan, so yeah, he's a big Star Wars nerd. He does seem like a really awesome guy. I'll tell you what, on Fangraphs or Fangraphs, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Fangraphs, they have like the projection for him, and I think it's like a 4.15 ERA. If 4.03,
I guess it changes all the time,
dude. If that happens, if he pitches 150 innings to a very low 4 ERA, I am ecstatic.
Massive win.
Ecstatic at that point. I'm not even willing to say that he's going to do that, though. Because that feels like a really big win. If he can kind of be what Yusei Kikuchi was for us, occasionally a good start, occasionally a really bad start, I'll take it.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. Like, that's it. Just fill out the rotation. Do your thing. And again, I'm open to breaking out if you want to, man. But that is the Blue Jays Today Show, everybody. This is our last live stream in this studio before we're going to Dunedin. I guess quick roll call here of what we got coming up. You got a video room, I believe, coming out tomorrow. Then on Monday, we don't have any videos posted, but you'll see some social media, some shorts from us. And then throughout the week, you'll see a live stream on Tuesday, a live stream on Wednesday, a live stream on Thursday, Friday. And then we'll have probably a few podcast pre-records as well coming out throughout. So just stay glued. Stay glued to your notifications in your phone. Blue Jays Today, boys. We're going to be dropping a lot of content. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is going to be one hell of a time. We're hoping to live stream the event we're at on March 4th.
Yes.
It's, we're at a panel, and it's Ben Nicholson-Smith, and it's Keegan Matheson, and it's Scott from High End Inside. And David Schneider's taking part of it in some capacity.
Riley
a couple
Toronto.
other people are taking part of it in some capacity. So should be one hell of a time. Hopefully Wednesday night. You guys can look forward to that. But thank you so much for watching. Hit that like, smash that subscribe button on the way out. And as always,
Go Jays, go! Golden grapefruit, rest in peace.